Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So I am doing an air sign love and spirituality reading. So this will be for Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. And I'll also be doing an extended video as always, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box down below. So I do want to give a quick disclaimer because I was picking up on cross-watcher energy with this reading. If you are cross-watching for another person, you may end up just being very confused because I set my intentions for my readings that cross-watching is not really, I guess you could say, possible, because I just never want to confuse anyone. Like if you are watching, like cross-watching a reading for your ex, right? Like let's say they're a Gemini, so you're cross-watching the Gemini reading and you see or you hear a message like, oh, you know, you're about to find true love and all that, and you're like panicking like, oh my god, is my ex about to find true love? Like cross-watching can just really like, it can really mess your mind up. So I always set the intention of no cross-watching. So I was picking up on cross-watching energy, so I wanted to just give that disclaimer here. More than likely, if you're cross-watching, I'm not tapped into your ex's energy or picking up on it, so you know there should be no type of fear or worry or confusion, you know, that comes from these readings. So let's dive into it. Air signs, we're going to start with your overall energy. So for your overall energy, I was picking up on the Queen of Wands, the World card in reverse, and the Devil card, which is very interesting, an interesting combination, because I am seeing that with the World card being here in reverse, to me that's a cycle of your life that was very difficult for you to break free from, and that's because you weren't learning the lessons that you needed to learn. It's like sometimes we'll go through the same cycle over and over again because we can't really see the lesson, and that doesn't mean that, you know, we are not competent or like that we're not doing the work. Sometimes the lesson is just very difficult. Like some of us have chosen very, very difficult spiritual paths this lifetime, and it doesn't help that, you know, other people and their free will and what they choose to do, like if they choose to do things that make it even more difficult for us, then it's like our cycles sometimes can just be very very difficult to get out of. And so yeah, it doesn't mean that you're not competent, it doesn't mean that you're not doing the work, it doesn't mean that you're not smart, it just means that it was difficult, but you have been trying your best to break through it, or break free from it. With the Queen of Wands here, I'm seeing that a lot of you, whatever life path you're on or whatever life cycle you're taking part in, this is something that requires just a lot of courage. It requires a lot of faith and things of that sort to break through. So you should give yourself a lot more credit, even if you are having a hard time breaking through this, because I'm just seeing that it just requires a very bold energy to break out of this. And if other people were in your shoes, I feel like they would have given up a very long time ago. So you need to give yourself a little credit, even if you were having, you know, a bit of a hard time breaking out of a very toxic cycle. So with your past energy being here, we have the Page of Cups and we have the High Priestess in reverse. So to me, this High Priestess in reverse talks about some sort of secret that was kept. And I feel like what I'm getting from this energy is that it wasn't a secret that was like sinister. It was more like a, you know, when you first meet someone and you really want to impress them, or they want to impress you, so there's certain parts of themselves that they hide. That's what I'm seeing here. It's like those things that are going on beneath the surface about someone that we don't know early on, and that's because we're just meeting them. And that's why it's important to get to know someone slowly, because those things that are beneath the surface, they're eventually going to come up for air. But if we get attached to the person before those things come up for air, then we don't know how to deal with it when those things come up for air, like those toxic habits or those things about the other person that could be deal breakers. When they come to the surface and we're already attached, it's very hard then to detach, right? So that's when you really enter like a very toxic, dysfunctional cycle, because it's like, I didn't know these things about you. I didn't know that you had these patterns. I didn't know that you handle conflict like this. It's like those things, it's like, I didn't know. And I'm so attached now that I can't just walk away. So now we're just gonna do the whole toxic dysfunctional dance with each other. So I'm seeing in the past, like that's kind of what it was. It's like things beneath the surface that didn't get a chance to show yet, and when they do finally show up, it could have been a bit of an issue. But I'm feeling like for some of you, like I said, I don't think it's sinister. I think that it may be just getting caught up in the emotion of something, and not doing your homework, or just not waiting the proper amount of time before, you know, diving in head first. I'm gonna pull one more card for that. I'm hearing that for some of you, that's the way that you used to operate in relationships. Like you used to take that approach, but now since then you have learned how to take things slow and get to know people first, and things of that sort. Pull one more. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. Page of Swords, yeah. So to me, what I'm seeing is that for some of you, you're learning that lesson. Like you're seeing that pattern within yourself, and you are learning that there's a need to take your time and do things very slowly and strategically when it comes to building certain connections. Because if you try to dive in too quickly, like I said, you start to see things that are deal breakers, but you're already invested. So now you're invested into someone who has a bunch of deal breakers, and it becomes like a push and pull sort of situation. And it can go both ways. It could be that someone invested in you very quickly, and you know, then they start seeing things that they consider deal breakers. So now you're both going back and forth with each other in that way. So that's the past energy. In the present, we have the Knight of Cups and we have the Five of Swords. So again, the Five of Swords talks about like ego trips, power trips, like pride. This can easily happen, like I said, when we don't fully know a person before, you know, offering them our heart, or them offering us their heart and us accepting it. If we don't fully know the person, it can easily turn into power play, power trips, power struggles, because you're in love with the idea of... So hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. If there was a slight pause in the audio, I just got a phone call and it interrupted my recording. But like I was saying, it could easily turn into that because you were in love with the idea of a person, and so it can easily turn into like a toxic situation where there's a lot of push and pull. But there's a part of you that still is attached to the person. There's a part of you that still, you know, wants to be with the person. So the struggle could be externally, like trying to basically change the person and get them to, you know, change the deal breakers that we see come to the surface. Or it could be an internal struggle because we're like, you know, why don't I just leave if I know that there's so much like push and pull, or there's so much negativity going on. And again, that's because there's already an attachment that's formed, so it's difficult to just leave in those situations. So let me pull one more. So let's say, or I'm going to give an example just in case anyone's confused. Let's say that you meet someone and you quickly fall in love with them. They quickly fall in love with you. And then, you know, you get together, you're attached to each other, and then a major issue, like your first major issue, comes up in the relationship, and you come to find that that person does not know how to take accountability whatsoever. Like they'll just flat out not say sorry, or they'll lie about what they've done. And you see that that is a complete and total deal breaker, but you are already attached to them. So it's like two types of conflict will then happen. Either the external conflict where you try to force them to not be that way, like you try to force them to take accountability, force them to not lie, or it'll be the internal struggle where you're not forcing them to change, but you yourself, it's like you're trying to force yourself to accept that that's who they are. And it's like, it's a very... it could just be very taxing emotionally and mentally. And that's a result of, like I said, jumping into something too quickly. And pull one more. Yep. Okay, so we have the Page of Wands here in reverse. So the Page of Wands being here, like I said, that's like an energy of jumping into something too quickly. So that's just clarifying, you know, basically what I just did a rundown of. But this also talks about pessimism. So some of you in the present moment, if you're in this type of dynamic, you could just feel very pessimistic about it, can feel kind of drained, like you're not able to see how things are going to work out. Like, I can't change this person, and I can't convince myself to accept, you know, the types of things that they do. So it's like, what do I do except, you know, let this situation go? This is a very difficult type of situation, a very difficult scenario that I feel like a lot of us have been involved in. A lot of us have jumped into situations without knowing, you know, the consequences first, and then learning along the way. So you shouldn't beat yourself up over it, and nor should you feel like foolish about it. It's just literally something we have to go through in order for us to learn and evolve. And it doesn't just have to be romantic. It can definitely be like, let's say you jump into a friendship too quickly, or a business arrangement too quickly. It could be any of those things. But the good news is that in the future, I see a lot of happiness and abundance that's coming your way. The Two of Cups, the Sun card, and the Six of Wands. These are the most positive cards literally in the deck, and they all came out together, like clarifying each other. So in the near future, I'm seeing so much brightness and abundance in your life, and it could be somewhat hard for you to see that right now, but it's guaranteed to you because of how difficult this cycle has been. It's like the more pain you've experienced in this past cycle, the more joy you're going to experience in this next cycle, partially because of all the lessons that you've learned, but also because when you've been through a long cycle of like a painful situation, it's like when you finally find peace, it's so much more enjoyable because you now can compare it to where you used to be. You see what I'm saying? Like, wow, I came from this and now I'm here. It kind of helps you to appreciate that happiness and that peace of mind much more. I do see a lot of you coming into some sort of connection with someone, whether it be a relationship that's evolving. And again, use discernment here, because if you were in that group that I was describing as like the other person refuses to change and things of that sort, this could be someone new for you. Because this is someone who sees eye to eye with you. This is someone who, yes, there's issues, and yes, there are things to work through, just like any couple, but for the most part, you really do see eye to eye. You're on the same page. There isn't this like, I'm going to force this. I'm going to force you to be a certain way, or I'm going to force myself to accept these deal breakers. It's not like that. It's like two people seeing eye to eye that can, you know, seamlessly maneuver through any type of issues or differences without there being like this dramatic push-pull, painful sort of situation. So I'm seeing success here. And if it's not with another person, it's just success in your life overall. It's like this peace of mind that you are finding. I am seeing you just really getting in touch or getting in tune with the things in life that make you feel happy, that make you feel carefree. I feel like you're about to step into a carefree cycle, and it's very much deserved because the cycles that you have been in have weighed you down with so much stress and just so much heartache. And it's like, it's well deserved that you're about to step into a new cycle, and it's about to be a fresh, clean slate. You do have help coming in for you is what I am hearing. So if you need help in any area of life, the universe is sending help for you. So just hang tight. Of course, you know, you're still needing to do whatever it is you need to do to get yourself out of certain situations and being proactive. But sometimes we do need help getting ourselves out of cycles. And sometimes it's help that we don't even know we need, and it just kind of comes in. So for example, let's say you're having money problems and you're not really looking for anyone to bail you out. You're just like trying to do your best to put in those extra hours or work extra hard to, you know, make ends meet. And then out of nowhere, maybe someone comes in and offers you some money. You see what I'm saying? It's like sometimes it's not even about us looking for the help or asking for it. Sometimes the universe just sees that we are struggling so much and that we could use a little bit of help, and so they send someone, or God or the universe sends someone in our direction to kind of, you know, help us out a little bit here. And I feel like it's well deserved. It's well deserved because you've had a lot on your shoulders, and it's about time that you got some help. And this help can come in different shapes or forms. It can come in the form of a person. It's going to be different for everyone. But yeah, I am definitely seeing peace, harmony, and just a very stress-free sort of energy that you can finally exhale, you know, thank God, because it's been a very long cycle. So I'm going to now pull cards for outside energy. This will be like a person or a situation that is affecting you energetically. And we're going to pull for this, and then we're going to finish it in the extended. So this could be a lover. This could be a family member, a friendship. Whoever is impacting you the most energetically and emotionally will most likely come up in this outside energy. Oh, okay. Four of Swords, Star card. Okay, so whoever this person is, this is someone who has a very hard time finding the positive in situations. So this is someone who is a bit pessimistic, or whatever connection you've had with them, it has been, it's cause both of you to be a bit pessimistic. Like you're not able to think positively about the connection because of things that you have gone through. But this is someone who needs healing and is trying to heal, and they are gaining some sort of wisdom or some sort of insight from whatever connection that you've had with each other. But they have a very hard time being at peace. This is someone who overthinks a lot, and this is someone who is always prepared for the worst, and they have a very hard time healing themselves because of it. And so that could have played a very large role in your connection. And it doesn't have to just be romantic. Like I said, this could be a friend. This could be family members who are like this. Overall, this is the energy of just someone who just has a very hard time. It's possible that they had a very hard life, because I'm just seeing that they have a very hard time formulating positive thoughts. And it's like they want to heal, like a part of them wants to heal, a part of them wants to grow and expand past these negative thought patterns, but it's very difficult for them to do so, and that could have definitely affected whatever connection that you had with them. So we're going to look more into this person in the extended. I will leave the link to that in the description box down below. So thank you for watching this reading, and I will see you in the extended video. Bye.